What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, the Goose, and the Goose is loose, baby. Ha! And I am here with my Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 2 review. Before we get into that, let me get some things out of the way. First, if you're new, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as we continue to march towards 100 subscribers. And go ahead and hit that like button for me. That helps me with the algorithms. That helps my videos get seen by more than just my little bubble of friends. Comment. Let me know what you think. Share this on social media. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 2 is titled The Star Spangled Man, and we find out a lot about John Walker pretty quickly. He's back at his high school. He finds his old locker and everything. You find out he has like a love in his life. He has a partner named Lamar Hoskins. The first scene, I literally wrote down, he could be redeemable. And I guess he could still be, but doesn't feel like we're going that way. Um, he does the whole Good Morning America interview. It's good. They're turning Cap back into the propaganda tool it was before Steve Rogers became Steve Rogers. Or he was always Steve Rogers, I suppose, before he became Cap. Then from there, we find out Walker he's for real. He has 3 medals of honors. He's been in a lot of fights overseas. I think they say like anti-terrorism acts. So I mean, this guy's capable. And then you cut to Bucky watching, and he's furious. And he shows up the next day and confronts Sam, and is like, he's furious because that's Sam's shield, and it was just given away. In Bucky's mind, it was just given away by Sam. And we'll get more into that when we get to the therapy session later. But then we're going to Munich, Germany. And we see the Flag Smashers, and there's great banter between Sam and Bucky. It's so good. The stealth moments where, like, Sam sneaks up on Bucky and he's surprised. Um, then, as they're watching the Flag Smashers, they see somebody in the back of one of the trucks and they think it's a hostage, but it's not. It's actually Carly Morgenthau. I believe Morgenthau is a name of a bigger character. I think that's the last name of the actual Flag Smasher character in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. Because the Flag Smasher is one specific Cap villain in the comics. And then we get that awesome truck scene that we saw in the trailer. The top of the truck fights, and it's awesome. And as it's happening, the Cap theme kicks in, and here comes John Walker and his boy Lamar Hoskins. They are in the battle. When the Captain America theme first kicked in, I was like, Steve? It really got me. Um, and I'm pretty sure watching this, I don't think John Walker is enhanced at all. I mean, he got fucked up by Carly Morgenthau. Um, so I don't think John is enhanced yet. I'll say yet. Or they just haven't revealed it yet. Um, let's see. I have some more notes this episode because it really started to pick up. During that fight, Bucky says afterwards, he's like, "We could have used the shield for that." Um, and then Sam says the thing that it's all soldiers, which is huge. I thought at the end of one of the reasons I don't really like Civil War that much was they introduced 6 new super soldiers just to put bullets in their heads. Like Bucky said, those 6 soldiers could have infiltrated a country and taken it down in one night, and you put bullets in all of their heads. I never liked that decision, but now there are more super soldiers. There are more enhanced coming into play, and Sam and Bucky need to find out why or how. And then we have a cute little scene, not cute, it's tense, with Walker, Hoskins, Sam, and Bucky. I think they say the GRC, the Global Repatriation Council. Maybe I wrote that down wrong, but it sounded something like just propaganda ish. Um, the car ride, John Walker. It seems like he's trying at this point. Like he's trying to make it work with them, but he also knows he has power. When he says like it's not hacking, it's government property. Um, he knows he has pull. And then we cut to a scene with the Flag Smashers. Thank God, I didn't think I was recording for a second. Um, and it's like this random shop, and you find out like, um, basically they have a lot of supporters, the Flag Smashers, and this guy says that they could find refugee wherever they go. And then we find out that there's somebody tracking them who texts them and says, "You have something I want. I'm going to find you and kill you." So this started to become interesting for me because I don't think the Flag Smashers are going to be the villains. They seem to have good morals, but maybe it's misguided. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. The San Francisco 49ers just traded up for the third pick in the NFL draft, and my phone's losing it. Um, so let me see. One war, one people is their catchphrase, and like I said, it's starting to feel like they're not the big bads. I think the name of the big bad is said later, and I'll talk about that then. And it was funny to me too that John Walker kind of got his ass handed to him. Um, so then Bucky says there's somebody you need to meet, and we have my favorite scene in this show so far. They go and they meet Isaiah Bradley. If you don't know, I talked about him last week. He's in the comics. I thought he came before Steve, and was, or maybe he was after Steve in the comics. But the way they make it sound here, finding out that Bucky was with him in 51, Steve was already in the water by then. So I think in the MCU, Steve will still be the first Cap. But then once he went in the ice, they tried to recreate it. And so we find out Isaiah Bradley is a black enhanced soldier. And Sam even says there was a black super soldier, and you never told anybody. You never told Steve. And Isaiah is intense. This performance by this actor, oh man, the power. Oh man, what a heavy role. When Bucky starts talking about his past, he freaks out and he's like, "I spent 30 years in jail after I was a hero." And this is the stuff that this series is going to deal with. When a white man breaks the law or goes like whatever Cap did, he can be on the run and he can do this, or like the consequences for a black man in any scenario similar to a white man are always going to be more severe. And it shows with how they treated Isaiah Bradley. And he screams and he kicks them out of their house, out of his house. And I think his grandson, I'm assuming there, he could end up with a shield by the end of this. We could come to find out he's enhanced. Like, I don't know. I need more Isaiah Bradley. That performance, I can already tell. That actor, whew, that's some good stuff if they get him more involved. I'd love to see him hold the shield at one point. He wouldn't be fully involved in a fight, but he could pick up the shield and throw it to Sam, and that could be the first time Sam re-embraces the shield. And then they get they get like rolled up on by cops because it's two grown men arguing in the road, and the cop, not recognizing Sam, like says to Bucky, "Is this man like, is he dangerous, or is this man harming you or something?" And it's to Sam. Why were they not concerned for Bucky? Because it's a white guy and a black guy. And that's how that happens in our country. Every episode, they're going to fucking turn that dial up. And I love that. Because You can't have a story about our government taking place and not have the truth of institutional racism there. And this series is not shying away. Let's see. So then Bucky gets arrested for missing therapy, and we get the therapy session. We find out that Walker also had therapy with the doctor that Bucky worked with. And we find out also that Walker has authorization because he gets Bucky out of therapy essentially and says, send him to me when you're done. And she says, who mandated that? And he points at himself. So Walker is an asshole, and he's an asshole who knows he has pull or sway. Um, the therapy session was good. Then the doctor says the miracle question. If I told you a miracle happened in your sleep and you woke up, what would you hope was different? It's a really interesting psychoanalysis. That's very interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about for yourself as well, I think. Then they do the soul gazing, and the banter's hilarious as they're turning. He's like, "Yeah, I love this one, Doc. Thank you." And then he's like, "What do you wanna? You wanna get?" And then they like scissor their legs together. It was a great scene. And then it gets real. And Sam says, "Have you ever thought for a second that I did something you and Steve couldn't do, and that I did what I thought was right?" Or I think he might have said something you wouldn't understand to Bucky. I can't remember how Sam delivered that, but it was honest. I really believe Sam did not think he was worthy of the shield. That's the truth of the matter. And then Bucky says something that crushed me. And like I teared up. I rolled tears when he said this. If he was wrong about you, he was wrong about me. Oh my god. When I said Bucky was gonna be the character I connect with in this, holy shit. He got right to my, cuz it's Bucky. Steve is the one who fought for Bucky during Civil War, during Winter Soldier. He fought for him, and Bucky was in his own mind too far gone. And Sam said no, or Steve said no, you're not. And he fought for him. So if Steve is wrong about Falcon, that means Bucky wasn't worth saving in his own mind. And that he is broken. And that delivery. Oh, heavy. Heavy. Excellent. Um, then we cut to the scene with Walker, Hoskins, Cap, Cap, Walker, Hoskins, Bucky, and Sam. And it's basically them trying to figure out if they can work together. And Sam says, look, you have protocols and procedures you got to follow and laws of engagement. We're free agents. Why would we work with you? We're creating more limitations for ourselves. And then John Walker says, fine, but stay the hell out of my way. The line has been drawn, so to speak. Um, then we are in Bratislava. Oh yeah, as they're escaping on the airplane, and one of the enhanced dies so they can get away. That shows, like, when I say this group doesn't feel like villains, one people, one war, one people. They're refugees. They're the marginalized. It feels like, and I think when you see the extremes they're willing to go to for each other, most villainous entities or groups are pretty selfish. These people are dying for each other. Carly Morgenthau cries for him as they take off. And then we find out they say the name Power Broker. And I believe that's the person who in the comics he endows people with the super soldier serum. He does experimentations on people. So I think Power Broker is going to be the person who enhanced all of these beings. Maybe as a response, look at this hair flow. Oh shit. I look good. I want to keep the hat off. Um Power Broker could be the person enhancing people, and maybe he's enhancing people as a response to something, like mutants. In the credits afterwards, you see like all the propaganda posters, and a lot of them are for Power Broker. I think it's like Power Broker is always watching. So he's about to be a huge part of this. And then finally, we find out this was all leading back to Hydra as well. Isaiah Bradley said. So Bucky says we have to go sit down with Zemo. And then we see Zemo in his cell and the episode ends. This was a great episode. The emotional impact was there. The banter between Sam and Bucky finally was there as they came together, and I love their chemistry. The stuff they're doing with John Walker, I really like because he's an asshole, and I think he's probably an asshole mainly out of privilege, but he doesn't seem malicious yet. He wants to do good, but right now he wants to do good by the wrong people, the government. So I think there's a chance he comes around, but it's more likely he's a part of like a Thunderbolts-esque group once he gets enhanced, which I assume happens at some point. Like I assume him and Bucky have to fight at some point, and Bucky nearly kills him potentially, and maybe steals the shield, and then John Walker gets enhanced and really becomes a super soldier, probably by Power Broker. But going forward, I'm really excited. There's 4 more episodes of this series. I think Isaiah Bradley is going to be a massive part of this series. I think he's potentially the most exciting part of this. Not exciting. That's a weird way to phrase what his story is, but that story has the most meat on the bones, I feel like. His grandson is gonna play a big part. I think every episode we're gonna ramp up the racist shit that's happening to Sam. We're gonna ramp it up little by little every episode until it's gonna be it's gonna be unwatchable by the end. I think it's gonna be hard and uncomfortable. Um, but yeah, going forward, I'm really excited for this series. I think the Flag Smashers are interesting because they may not be villains. John Walker could be redeemable, but I feel like he'll probably do something that cuts that. Um, Lamar Haskins is interesting. Right now, he's just John Walker's best friend, but he could be something else, I guess. He's getting lines, he's getting significant screen time. Yeah, but going forward, I'm really excited. Let me know your thoughts down below. I give this episode an A. This was great. I really enjoyed it, and I think with Zemo getting involved at the end, with the lines kind of blurring between the Flag Smashers and if they are bad, or if they are more people that were like Isaiah Bradley and were forcibly experimented on. I think that's going to be really exciting to see. And Carly Morgenthau, that character seems young. If this is all going Young Avengers, who knows? Maybe they want some original characters in there. I don't fucking know. I don't have a lot of knowledge of the Cap comics, so this isn't going to be like WandaVision where I have these well thought out theories. I'm along for the ride. I really am. And I'm going to be surprised by the things as they happen, and that's exciting for me. So, if you're still here, please drop a like on the video, comment down below, let me know what story you're most excited for right now. Let me know after episode 2. Bucky is still my favorite. Where do you lean, Sam or Bucky? Who's your favorite so far? Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. The Goose is out.